here is a little sneak peek of this look so you can decide if you want to stick around. I'm going to go in though with the Flower Beauty Light Illusion foundation. So what I do first is I do about 2 pumps, get it on my fingertips, and I start putting it on my skin with just kind of my fingertips, and then I will finish it off with the sponge. This shade has grown on me. I don't think it's too awful bad. I don't think it's so off that I shouldn't be wearing it. I think it's working. Like I said, I just have to put some down here and make sure I get it into my hairline, on my ears. I actually take the sponge into my hairline to make sure it's going all the way back, and just making sure that I'm really kind of covering all the bases. All right, so we have that going on. So now I'm gonna go in with the Bareminerals BareSkin Concealer. This is their serum concealer. I absolutely love this concealer. This is the concealer I wore over the weekend as well, and you know what? It did pretty well, because that's my biggest gripe with this concealer is the longevity. I did set it a little bit with the Kat Von D Lock-It powder at the time, because I didn't have the new powder. And it did well. It does well when you set it. I just love the finish so much. I wish I didn't have to, but that's not going to happen, you know. That's asking way too much for a concealer to last and you not set it. So, but yeah, it did pretty well. Love the color, which is very unusual for me. It's really hard for me to land on a good concealer color that's the right hue and the right tone, light and darkness and all of that. So yeah, I do really, really like this one. Okay, so I have to say that my very first impression was very mediocre. I didn't see anything different really when it comes to something so spectacular that I've been hearing so much about. I also did not feel the cooling sensation. Go figure. It spilled a little tiny bit on my finger and I felt it then, but I probably didn't feel it on my face because maybe I have makeup on and it's skincare. I don't know. But yeah, I didn't really feel it on my face at all. But let's, I'm not giving up on it because I really want to experience what everybody else did. And it was very underwhelming as a first impression for me, but I'm gonna, I love, oh my goodness, I really love pairing the BareSkin Serum Concealer with this Light Illusion Flower Beauty Foundation. Both of them have such gorgeous finishes, but I gotta set it. So, okay, so I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do what I do with my Kat Von D Lock-It setting powder, and that is I just kind of start with pouncing it on the skin. And so I'm just gonna do that. Now, this does have this really awesome bouncy kind of mesh thing here that you can do, but there's so much powder there that I am not gonna attempt to do that. And then they recommend, there's even a little sticker here that says, please close this lid. It will keep the coolness inside. Again, I don't feel the coolness, but everybody else did. Anywho, so I'm just gonna pounce this on everywhere, and I'm gonna give this a good time, a good amount of time to see what I think about it with different foundations, and then report back to you guys in a week or two. I usually give it about a week. I feel like everybody forgets what we're checking out if I go longer than a week. But like the Flower Beauty, I will check in if anything is good, bad, or indifferent is needing to be reported. And I have to say, so far, the Flower Beauty Foundation has been so impressive to me. I had a great first impression, and it's really kind of one of my favorites right now. It's a little heavier than I generally use. It's probably the heaviest foundation I've ever used, and it covers very, very well, but it feels nice on the skin. I don't feel like it's really heavy, and it looks nice, you know. It doesn't look like a heavy foundation. So I'm gonna use the Morphe M504 brush to kind of really lightly set this. I'm gonna twirl this on that little bouncy, because I can kind of determine how much I want to pick up on that kind of really cool mesh thing they have in here. And then tap it off really well. And then I'm gonna just kind of pat that in both above and below. And we will see how this lasts. Yesterday I didn't have to go anywhere. Today I do have to do a couple errands. I have to get out and about. It's a little misty, rainy out there. Anyway, it'll be a better test for me today to come up with a better feel with this. Okay, we're going to go on now to the Bareminerals bronzer. I kind of had a great feeling about this with my first impression, which really surprised me because I was not expecting to like it, to be honest, especially when I opened it up, because it looked ashier on my monitor on my laptop, you know, when I ordered it online. And so I thought, ooh, and then when I swatched it, it definitely has this kind of light orange kind of thing going on. But I'm going to have to use this several times in different lighting. I'm excited to try it on a sunny day just to see, you know, what it looks like, because I have put bronzer on, gotten in my car, flipped down the mirror on a nice sunny day and went, oh my gosh, like this does not look good. So I'm going to have to really put this to the test to come to a really great, true opinion on it. But I thought I would just test this out for those of us out there, you know, you guys out there that also struggle with this because you're so fair, like me. All right, so I'm going to use just kind of a medium-sized powder brush for this. This is an old brush from icing, so that shows you how old that is. And I'm going to go in here with this. And I'm going to start here in the perimeter of my forehead and really get into the hairline there. That's why I don't wear wigs or anything when I am putting on my makeup. I always wait until I'm all done and then I will do that, because I just really like to get everything kind of blended into the hairline, and what a mess that would be on the lacing and ugh. Okay, and then I'm going to bring it, I'm going to kind of pinch this brush. May not be the best brush in the world for me to use, but I'm going to take it kind of right here and warm up that part. And then I'm going to go under here and go all through my neck and behind here. We don't want anything to stop and have this really weird line of demarcation. It is a bronzer after all. And I'm going to go right in here, kind of. This has a little bit of illumination to it, not a ton, which is good. I'm going to put a little bit here on my nose. So I really think this is buildable. I do like the shade more than any other bronzer that I have ever used from first impression. And I love that I'm a little hopeful. So again, it's going to take a little bit, but how do you, I mean, I really do think it's doing what it's supposed to, and it's kind of warming up my skin. So, so far I'm more hopeful with this than really any other bronzer that I have ever tried. So fingers crossed. So here is the actual packaging of this beautiful palette here. It's the velvet, which unfortunately gets dirty so quickly. So I have a towel down here. I'm going to be constantly wiping my hands. Gonna try my best. It's already got a little bit of shadow down here. Anyway, let me show you what this palette looks like. Again, this isn't brand spanking new because I have dipped into a few of the pans, but it is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. I have dipped into a couple of the pans. I would say it's definitely on the warm side. There are a couple neutral colors in here, but definitely leans toward the warm side. So does the Sultry palette. My next purchase will be to see if there is a cooler palette within the Anastasia Beverly Hills line, and I'm pretty sure there is. I can't remember what it's called. So anyway, let's get going on this. This has a gorgeous kind of first wash color in this palette, and I love when that happens because I don't have to go searching for one elsewhere. So we are going to start with the full wash color. It's going to go everywhere. It's going to go down here in lash line, up into the brow, everywhere. And it is going to give us a really nice foundation, a nice smooth foundation of which to apply the colors on top of, make them easier to blend. Yes, it's called Tempera. And I'm going to press this in first. And then once I get that pigment right where I want it, then I can kind of go in and kind of distribute it this way. This is a beautiful vanilla color. Perfect for this wash color. I do like a really nice even coat of the wash color because it really is kind of like, if you're a painter, it really is kind of the gesso. It's that step, you know, and then everything that goes on it is going to blend really nicely. So if it's even, it's going to make that so much easier. So we're going to start with that very first transition color, and I'm going to be using my favorite brush now, the Morphe 441 for this. The color that we're going to be going in for this is called Dusty Rose. I cannot stress enough, guys, how the combination of this brush, the bristles that are used, and this palette, and the payoff, the richness of these colors, you really just need to dabble in them. I like to go in kind of light layers and build if I need it. I don't want to go in real hard and heavy in the beginning, which is so easy to do with these palettes. So I literally just kind of touch the palette with the tip, you know, I might rock it around a little bit, and then I really knock it off really, really well. Because I made the mistake with my Sultry palette the very first time I used it, because I was not used to the exceptional quality, to be honest. And I was applying it what I thought was layering, and it blended and blended. I had a huge mess on my hands. So I just want to warn you guys about that. And it's not a bad thing at all. I just have to adjust kind of how I go about things. Okay, so this is a beautiful Dusty Rose color, and I'm going to put this where I always put this first application of the transition color here. And the transition color seems sometimes superfluous because, you know, a lot of times we cover it up with some other colors, but it isn't at all. It's beginning to build depth. It's setting the backstage for colors that we're going to put on it. So your transition color, if it's kind of warmer, it's going to warm up whatever color you use next to it or on it. If it's a cooler shade, it's going to do that. So it isn't. It's really, really important, and you're always going to see that transition color, because I like to put the transition color up the highest of any of the application pieces to my looks. So you're going to always see it in its purest form. It's somewhere. Anyway, so I am going to add a little tiny bit more. It's better to be safe than sorry. I have not used this color yet, and it is gorgeous. One thing that is for sure is that these colors are so buildable that you can, and I think I will do a video. I'm going to use one color and build depth with it, which I never do. But with these, you definitely can, and I think that would be fun. One or two colors. Maybe I won't commit to just one color, but I have already done two color look, not counting the wash with the Anastasia Sultry palette. But I think that would be an awesome little challenge for me because you know I like to use quite a few colors in my looks. That's a gorgeous color. Let's get the other eye caught up. Next, I'm going to go in with the same exact brush. I'm just going to wipe it off here on my terry towel down here. I'm going to go in next with Rosé Pink. And I'm going to start kind of building depth, and I'm going to put this on my mobile lid. But I'm not putting it in this area. So this is going mostly on the mobile lid into my natural crease. I'm going to load it up a little bit more. And I'm going to do this eye. Again, this is mostly mobile lid up to about here, not going in this direction or up at all. And I'm going to kind of push it into that crease and the outside corner here. Okay, the one next to it is called Sultry, and that's the one we're going to use next. This is the brush that came with the palette. I really like this side here. It's a flat brush and it's good for packing. So I want more control. So we're gonna go ahead and use this brush. So I'm gonna go into Sultry right now. And then I'm gonna build depth here on the outside. This one is definitely got the sparkles, as did the one that we used right before this. But it is going to give us a little bit more depth because it's a little bit darker. It's got, now that I'm looking at it, because I didn't swatch this, but it definitely has kind of a coppery, little brown coppery background, which is not what my eye is seeing in the pan, but it's still very pretty. I always press in first, so it really helps to cut down on any fallout. Plus, it's virtually impossible for me to do anything different because my crepiness would be very hit and miss with the pigment, and it would be awful. So yeah, it's pretty important that I pack it on first. All right, and then I'm going to use my Spectrum C06 blending brush, and I'm just going to kind of make sure that my edges look really soft. Going to be using another M441 brush, and I'm going to go in to Mulberry. Just tapping, tapping, tapping the very tippy tips of those bristles in that color, knocking it off really well. I am going to kind of not do my 5x smear right now and kind of sit back, and I'm going to create a little more depth yet a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to be applying this right here on the edge and a little high right here, and I'm only going to go in about that far with it. Did you see how much pigment that just deposited there? Which is fine, but I hardly had any pigment on my brush. That's how the payoff is with these shadows. All right, so I'm gonna do that over here. I have not reloaded. Going about halfway really with this color, about halfway. Not putting it right here on my mobile lid though, but I am putting it on the outside and up and going in about halfway with it, just pressing it there. And then I'm going to use my blending brush to blend the top edges, the side edge, and the inner edge. Going to go in with a packing brush, and I'm going to go back in to the mulberry. Just get it right there on the sides, on the tips, tap that off really well. I am gonna go in with my 5x mirror now, and I'm gonna really kind of pat that in. You see how a packing brush is gonna up the ante with your payoff. And I'm tapping that in right here. I'm gonna determine I'm definitely above my natural crease, for sure. And I'm gonna blend this out. These are like butter, they blend out really, really well. So again, that can be a little crazy if you overblend. So again, I'm gonna put that right in here, right above my natural crease. But I am not putting it on my mobile lid, this color, anywhere on my mobile lid. And I'm gonna blend out those edges so it looks soft. I feel like we really need to brighten up just under the arch of the brow, and this will lift the eye. Little illusion there, and it does lift the eye a little. So I really think that we need to do that right here under the arch. Tuck it under there. Don't bring it down too far, especially if you have hooded eyes, because then you're gonna get some puffiness there, and that's the exact opposite that we would want to do. So I'm gonna tightline with a deep black, and tightlining is underneath the upper lash line. Waterlining is when you go down below, you know, the lower lash line in that area there. So I had somebody ask me about that. So because I'm not gonna really wear anything underneath, I'm not gonna waterline, but I am gonna tightline with this. So find a nice coal black eye pencil that works well in your waterline and do that. And then apply your favorite mascara and then do your brows. And we're gonna do those things and meet up here. So I'll be right back. We are ready now for blush. First, just in case some of you are watching a makeup tutorial of mine here for the first time, you're not aware of what I use on my brows. I use the Foolproof Brow Powder first. This is palette number 3, and I just use really this darker shade here on the, you know, outer part of the brow that they show. So I do that first because things are sparse. I really kind of need to get in there and get on the skin and do that with the powder. And then I go over with the GIMME BROW. This is a tinted brow gel, and this is in color number 4. Love this. There is a learning curve. There was for me anyway. I had to practice with it a little bit, but look at that little tiny spoolie. Little tiny, it's, you know, a lot of definition you can get. And this is what you're going to be really kind of putting on the actual brows that you have, and it defines them. This is in number 4, so it's a little darker than the powder, and I really like those two together. This is the favorite kind of brow combo, or the favorite way to do my brows ever. So I'm really liking both of those together. I found as I get a little older, I need a little more, and it's getting harder and harder to make my brows look nice and natural. But so far, I really like those products. Okay, so we're gonna do the cheeks. I'm gonna go in with Smashbox, and this blush is called Rich Berry, and it is from the palette that I have, of which I do not think they actually sell anymore. But what I think is true, I am hoping, because I think I've looked before, I think you can get these in smaller palettes and or individually. So this is called Rich Berry. I'm going to use this a little bit as a contour, and I'm going to go in with this angled powder brush here, and I'm going to load really the bottom half mostly, and I'm going to take it kind of under here. These are both, the colors I'm going to be using are both matte blushes, which is totally okay because I'm going to be using the Clear Radiance all over anyway, so I'm not relying on my blush to give me that glow. just reloading. I'm going to bring this darker color kind of down in here. Not on the top, but down a little lower. Kind of scooping my cheek, kind of like a check mark, really. Oops. Alrighty. With a more floofy brush now, I'm going to apply the next color, and it is called True Pink Berry. And I'm going to put this more on the apples of my cheeks and up a little higher. Make that funny face so you can find the apples of your cheeks. I probably do bring my blush in a little further than many people you see. I don't know, I just like that look, I guess. Okay. Go over both those applications really lightly with my powder brush just to kind of soften that whole thing up. And now we're going to go in with the Clear Radiance by Bareminerals. I have already opened this and it's ready to go. So I'm going to tap it a little bit in the lid. Color-wise, I'm seeing maybe just a kind of a light, I don't know, light vanilla sort of color. Looks very similar to the Pure Radiance, not as pink. The brush I got at Target here, it's a fairly dense blush brush. I'm not sure if that's technically what it is, but I like to use this for my radiances. It fits really nicely in the lids, and it works really well for that. So I'm going to load this up again. I kind of go in layers. I don't go in hard and heavy right away. I have a really great kind of glow right now anyway. Maybe I won't put too much on my nose, but I'm going to take it right here on each side, here, and then in the center of my forehead. That's really pretty. These, I think, I don't know, I feel like these radiances are kind of the mature woman's replacement for highlighting, you know, for the POW highlighters. But it really is more, it really is a preference. It's like, what kind of look are you going for? But I just love these. There are just our little magic weapons, these radiances, I think, for the mature woman. Love, love, love. I have yet to be disappointed in any of the radiances. Okay guys, I am ready to apply my Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude Lip Pencil, very predictable. And I haven't decided on which lip color I'm going to use within, you know, the Color of the World lipstick line. I have a couple here, and we'll see what we think. So I'm going to go ahead and line my lips. Okay, I'm going to go in now with Flower Petal Fingers Crossed on this one. Oh my. Okay. So if this happens and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa there, lips, then I will subdue it a little bit with gloss. I actually like this color. I just think I'm not convinced it goes really well with what we got going on with our eyes. So I think I'm going to subdue that a little bit. I'm going to fetch a gloss and I'll be right back. So I grabbed my Rhonda Ellison nude lip gloss here from the Illumi Color line. I love these. They're more liquid lipsticks. I'm safe. I can put these all over and they're not going to travel around like a lip gloss would. You know, they have a little bit more of a thicker consistency, yet they are like a lip gloss. They have great staying power. Anyway, this is my favorite. This is the nude. So I do think, yeah, I think that's what we needed to have happen there. So I hope you enjoyed this look, you guys. This was a lot of fun trying out all those new products with y'all. And I will definitely be giving you follow-ups on them as I use them throughout the week, and we'll touch bases with you. I'll either do a separate video or I'll talk about it in the following Gab session, not this one coming up, but the next one. But I'll let you know. All right, guys, so I will see you really soon. and stay young at heart. Bye-bye.